Hello, good morning. I hope that everybody's well and that you've had a good week. We've had the most amazing week. Ray and I, at this moment in time, feel so blessed with our lives, and we want to thank all of you for your prayers and for holding us in your hearts. God is kind. On Monday evening, we saw a spinal cord specialist, and we had the most amazing news. Ray's neck is healing. All of a sudden, we've got life to look forward to together. I couldn't look forward to anything in life without my beloved husband. I am him, he is me. Anyway, we've celebrated all week. It's just been absolutely wonderful. This week I've had some lovely goodies come in the post, and we've had the release of this fabulous, stunning sampler, Maria Vincenza Larici. The moment I saw this sampler come up for sale, I knew this was a sampler that we wanted to produce for the Hands Across the Sea portfolio. It really is a gorgeous sampler. The reproduction was just a joy to work on. She wasn't easy to chart, even though she's really cross stitch over two and a little bit of four-sided stitch. The linen was so fine, it was really hard counting to get the correct placement, and my eyes, I had so much eye strain when I was charting her, but it was worth it because it's just such a beautiful sampler. Here she is. Isn't she beautiful? She just takes my breath away. And any sampler wall, this is just going to be a sampler that is a standout sampler. I love the landscape shape of the sampler. I love the fact that it's a triptych. I think that's really something that's very different. It stands out. And I love the way that the sampler flows. Really, really pretty. Maria Vincenza Larici, and she was 10 when she stitched the sampler in Anno Domini 1837. There are some little numerals scattered around the sampler. We've got 13 there, we've got 4 there, we have 8 there, we have 11 there. We don't know what that means. It obviously meant something to Maria. I was absolutely amazed when we found Maria in family history records. She lived in Puglia area or province of Italy, which, if you think of Italy as a boot, she was on the heel and the sole of the heel. It was that area, and the village or the town that she came from was, get this right now, Terlizia or Terlizia. My Italian is awful, and it is so shameful because my mother was or is Italian, and my nonna and my zias, they all spoke Italian, but my mother would not allow Italian to be spoken in our home. She wanted us to grow up being British and sounding British, which was, she thought that she was doing the best for us, but of course it's so wonderful if you can be bilingual, and if you grow up with two languages, I think it makes a third and a fourth language easier to master. But there we are. I can't speak Italian. When I was young, I could understand Italian from, when I was at my grandmother's and my aunt's houses, because they used to speak such quick Italian, and it was so emotive and with all the hand movements. But I'm digressing from Maria now. Maria was stitched by the Contented Stitcher, and I know that she thoroughly enjoyed every single stitch of the sampler, and she can't wait for this sampler to hang in her home. And I've seen the spot where she's going to hang the sampler, and it's going to fit perfectly, and it's going to catch everybody's eye. I wish this was on my sampler wall, but I can't stitch them all. Now, the colour, the shade of red that we chose to stitch the sampler with is actually a really good match to the original, and it has a softness to it that you could imagine the heat of the Italian sun just taking the edge off the red, so this sort of like mellow red. And the colour we chose to stitch her with was number 523 from Overa Soie's Soie 103 range. And the conversion for Soie d'Alger was 2916 and 347 for DMC. The linen that we chose to stitch this sampler on was from Legacy Linen, and it was Sycamore Sea Pod in 5363, and we specifically wanted to go for an uneven linen for this sampler because on the original, when I first saw it, I thought it was cross stitch that was 3 threads wide by 2 threads high. The cross stitches are very sort of squat and stretched, and it's because when I looked at this under magnification, she wasn't stitched 3 over 2, she was stitched cross stitch over 2, but the linen is very uneven. So the Sycamore Sea Pod in 5363 was the closest that we could get to that sort of unevenness. So if you wanted to stitch her in a lower count, we would recommend Foxtail Millet from Legacy Linen in 45 count, Corn Tassel from Legacy Linen in 37 count, or Sponge Cake from Legacy Linen in 30 counts. But of course, you must stitch this sampler on whatever linen and whatever count that you feel comfortable with. This sampler could also be stitched on Ada as well. It's just so beautiful, and we really hope that you will enjoy stitching this sampler as well. I've seen one start already posted on social media, and Jean Lee from the Attic Needleworks has already started Maria. I showed Jean Maria when I acquired her, and she has been so excited about this sampler. Anyway, I'm looking forward to watching Jean's progress and your progress on Maria as well. Okay, so what else has happened this week? Well, talking about the attic needleworks, I had already booked my flights because I had decided I was going no matter what to the States, but I actually had confirmation that I've got a place at the Sampler Symposium. I am so excited to take a class with Sissy. Sissy is a dear friend. She's just a lovely, lovely person to spend time with, and I could listen to her talk about samplers all day long. I hope that I'm going to see lots of you at the attic, and you know, if you didn't apply when registration opened, it will be worth you contacting Jean to see if you can get a place to attend. Just going to the store is a wonderful experience, but to actually take a workshop, Jean always is a wonderful host, and the workshops are always very special at the attic. I can't wait. I'm going to make a little holiday of it. I'm going to see other friends who live in the area, and I can't wait to travel again, although I must admit I am a little nervous about the first time flying since COVID. I keep on having this nightmare where I get to the States and I'm going through border control and my paperwork isn't in order for all the COVID tests, and the security guards are dragging me back on the plane, and I'm going, I want to go to the attic. Oh dear Lord, I wake up in a sweat. But yeah, panicking a little bit, but I'm sure everything will be okay. Okay, so what else has happened this week? On social media, it has been really, really lovely to see people posting that they are receiving 2 particular booklets at the moment, and they're 2 limited edition booklets that are going to be stitch-alongs, and that is the gorgeous Rose Ada Featherstone and the magnificent Esther Blackwood. Rose is a stitch-along and limited edition for Hobby House Needleworks, and Esther Blackwood is a limited edition and a stitch-along for Traditional Stitches. It's been wonderful seeing these arrive and needleworkers posting them on social media. They're both very beautiful samplers, and if you want to join in with a stitch along or just stitch the samplers by yourself, you need to contact Hobby House Needleworks for Rose and her bonus sampler Jane Elizabeth Milner, and Traditional Stitches for Esther Blackwood. We're going to have such a wonderful 2022 with these 2 stitch-alongs. What else has happened this week? Well, I went to the framers on Friday to drop off some pieces to be framed, and I picked up 2 pieces, and one of those is the new sampler, Charlotte Entwistle, and isn't she adorable? You don't have to have a big sampler to have impact. Sometimes the small samplers carry a big punch with them as well. Charlotte has a sister, Margaret, and they will be released at the same time. So this sampler won't be out until next year. So she's going up on my sampler wall, and will be released when her sister Margaret has been stitched. Now the other sampler I'm just going to get, it's a big sampler, so just bear with me a moment. Here she is. She is big. This sampler, Hannah Gaskell, was stitched by Sandra a long time ago now and was released a long time ago, and Hannah has been on display, but she is now going back to Sandra. The box I had, and I've been saving this big box for a while specifically for this sampler, she won't fit in, so I'm on the hunt for a very, very big box to ship her. This is a gorgeous sampler. we were drawn to the sampler because of the boy and the dog. We loved that about her. And this sampler would be a very good sampler to stitch around Easter time because of the crucifix scene in the sampler. Very, very nice. And you know, Sandra did a fabulous job stitching this sampler. Let me just go and put her down where she's safe. I'm shipping Hannah without any glass in, and I always get so nervous when samplers don't have glass in to protect them. It's just so easy for something to happen to them. I always feel that glass is their security blanket, and I want to be very careful with the sampler. Okay, so what else came in the post this week? Well, a pair of scissors. Now, I admit I am obsessed about scissors. I can't wear high heels any longer, so scissors are my sort of guilty pleasure. And a little while ago, I saw Hobby House Needleworks post a picture of a pair of scissors, and they were Kohana scissors, Kohano, and they're Japanese scissors. And I love my Monsieur Rouleau scissors and Emmanuel Jamas. They are fine, delicate scissors, but they're not scissors for everyday use. And I wanted a really good quality pair of scissors that were robust. And these scissors looked as if they would fit the bill. And when they came, they do. So they come in a little lightweight balsa wood box. And when you open it up, the scissors are wrapped in a cloth that's like a cloth that you use to clean your glasses, and then they come in a good quality leather sheath, and there are the scissors, and they are very fine. And of course, with fine scissors, it means you can get closer to the base of your thread to snip it off, because these scissors are very fine in themselves. And this has a very good cutting action. These are going to be my everyday scissors that I use when I'm sat at home embroidering. I do like to take my special scissors when I go to a retreat or a workshop, because you have things to enjoy, and part of the enjoyment is using them. But I couldn't use my Monsieur Rouleaux every day. So these are now my everyday scissors, and I'm so pleased that I ordered them. They are really lovely. And of course, it had to be red. But since I've bought these, I've seen that Hobby House Needleworks has a beautiful blue pair of these scissors. And it turns out that these scissors in this particular colour were limited edition, and the distributors that Hobby House Needleworks get them from managed to secure the last shipment. So I'm now deliberating whether I should get the blue scissors as well before Hobby House sells out. I'm in a dilemma. I shouldn't really. I shouldn't spend the money, but a girl and her scissors. And then, of course, I expect I'll get the blue pair, then I'll want a different colour. But, you know, hey ho. I'll be able to coordinate the colour of my scissors with my project. Go on to Hobby House Needleworks website and have a look at those blue scissors. They are really nice. Shall I be good or shall I be tempted? I shall have to see. I'm saving my pennies for when I go to the Attic Needleworks. In the post, I received a surprise. I had bought a sampler at auction, and what I didn't realise was that there was a second sampler in the lot, And when I opened the box, the first sampler I opened was this one. And I thought, gosh, they've sent me the wrong sampler. Then I realised there was two. And then I thought, oh gosh, they've sent me somebody else's sampler. So I had a look at the lot, and lo and behold, I had bought two samplers in one lot. And this is just a delightful surprise, and I wanted to share it with you. It was stitched by Doris Wood in 1929, I believe. Yes, 1929. And Doris was an amazing needleworker. Isn't that pretty? Look at all that work that's gone into this sampler. Amazing. So beautiful. And such a lovely surprise. And Doris has come to the right home because I will cherish this sampler. Whether we reproduce her, I don't know. But I am going to be taking her to my framers and I'm going to remount her and have her framed and have some museum glass put in front of her to preserve her. That is just amazing needlework. It truly, truly is. There are some, I've got to show it to you again. There are some fabulous stitches and patterns in this sampler. I could look at this sampler all day long. I wonder how Doris came to stitch this. Did she stitch it with a group of needleworkers? Yeah, did she use a pattern? I suspect that this wasn't a pattern, that this was something that she designed herself. I don't know why, I just feel that. I'll probably turn out to be completely wrong, but I just think that is amazing. 1929. You know, needlework doesn't have to be 1829 or 1729 to be really special and precious. You know, this is nearly 100 years old, and I think that's just as important to preserve for the future as something from 1729. Stitch-wise, last week with Sue, I showed Honora Maxwell, the little American sampler that was stitched in Kings, Brooklyn. I finished that sampler. I just couldn't stop. It was just, I just love that little sampler so, so much. And I made a start on the brother and sister sampler. So there's Martin. He's all stitched. So Martin Noah Hubbard. And I'm just starting Emma Hubbard, and I'm going to frame them separately. I thought long and hard about it, and they're going to be in two separate frames. So yeah, just watch this space, and I hope to finish Emma this week. They're not big stitches. I'm really pleased with the colours and the way they're sitting. This is a very good match to the originals. When I first saw these samplers, I thought one was stitched one year and one was stitched the following year. But funny enough, Lisa was talking to her mum, and her mum said, those are stitched at the same time. And when you think about it, they were. They were both stitched in 1880, and Martin was 10 and Emma, his sister, was 11. And I think that's really lovely, you know, a little brother and sister sitting down, the brother, you know, following his big sister's stitching. Really, really nice. And I'm so pleased to be reproducing a boy's sampler. I've got two other boys samplers in my collection, and I've just acquired another one which may be here probably in about 2 weeks' time, and that one will definitely be reproduced. What else happened this week? I think that was probably it. Next week I hope to be doing a video with Sue. I'm getting together with Sue in an hour's time. We're all going out for Sunday lunch. It's Sue's birthday this week, so we're going out to celebrate her birthday. Yeah, looking forward to this afternoon and spending time with Sue, and Sue's looking forward to spending time with all of us next week. Enjoy Maria, and please share your progress with Maria on social media. We love seeing the samplers being stitched, and if you want to join in with Rose and Esther, these are limited edition. They are running out, and these two samplers will never be reissued in any format. They are just for this particular edition. Okay, right, stay safe, stay well, and if God is kind, I'll be back next week for another Flosstube. Bye-bye.